Welcome to the next MakerLibre Kossel mini build video. In this video we're going to be showing you how to create the vertical carriages, these extrusions that go from the bottom frame to the top frame. At the end of the video you're going to have 3 carriages that look just like this one. And we're going to do that by taking these 2 rail carriage adapters, this carriage mount, end stop holder, this pre-wired end stop, and these screws, ball bearings, and tiny screws. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to mount the end stop. So we take the end stop, we take this U. This U is actually where this small M3 8mm screw goes into. You just pop it into the hole. You want to send it all the way through. Use an Allen wrench if you need to until the screw comes out the other side. You can slide your nut onto the end of it. Alright, now this U is going to point towards the top of the rail like this, and the end stop for this limit switch is going to face in the opposite direction towards the bottom of the rail. So you line up the holes, and then you'll grab one of these small screws. This is a 6/32 screw and a small screwdriver. There's no nut. All that you do is you screw this screw in. I'm going to get it started. It doesn't have to be super tight. Put the other screw in. Screw it in. Now you want to tighten them both down. You don't have to crank it down. All you want it to do is be taut. Now you're going to slide with this T-nut. You're going to slide the end stop into the top of the rail, just like everything else. You're going to see that the nuts line up, and then you want this end stop to go 2/3 of 2 lengths in. So that's 1 length, 2 lengths, 3 lengths. You can see that the other ones are lined up about the same. And then once you've got it into a place that you want it, it doesn't have to be precise. You can then tighten this 3mm screw with the Allen wrench, and your end stop is attached. Now, what this is used for is for the computer on board to know when the carriage has reached the top of the rail. So we're going to create our carriage now. What we'll do for the carriage is we're going to attach these 3 pieces together to form one of these units. Now, there are 4 of these M3 20mm screws available to us. So we just pop it into the holes. If it doesn't pop in with your fingers, then you can use the Allen wrench to get it all the way in. Okay. So you're just going to send this screw all the way through, because you're actually going to be using the other end of the screw to attach these carriages. You want it to leave the end of the back side of these carriages. Now, these carriages were actually something that I had to modify the existing Kossel design to accommodate, because the carriages that come with the Kossel are too skinny and they wouldn't trigger the end stop. But what I did is I added this thickness at the bottom, and that allows the carriage, when it goes to the top of the rail, to actually trigger the end stop. And then the onboard computer will know that you've reached the top of the rail. once you've got the screws coming out a little bit, you grab one of these carriages. Now, when you get the carriage, it won't have any ball bearings in it, but I'm putting these in here to save a little bit of time. But you wouldn't really want to add the ball bearings yet. And the reason why is that they might fall out when we're trying to attach all of these different screws. But I'm going to take my chances here because we're trying to rush through this video. We want the screw to go into the screw holes. And we're just going to let this go all the way down. We're going to try to rush it along. And once it's flush, we know that we can stop and we can move on to the next one. So this is flush. This is flush. Now we can move on to the next carriage. We're just going to do the exact same thing. You don't have to worry about it being a little bit awkward or diagonal. That'll straighten itself out as the screw moves into the carriage hole. We'll keep screwing it down until it's flush. And now our carriage is attached here. The next thing that we want to do is we want to take this tensioning screw and we just want to get it started, but we don't need it to be tight yet. And now we're ready to insert the rest of the ball bearings. So just take the ball bearings. You'll have 3/16 inch Delrin balls, which are the white ones. You'll have all of them as Delrin instead of some of them as steel ball bearings, but the idea is the same. Right. Now, you don't need to have the entire carriage filled with balls. Actually, that would be a bad thing because they would be too tight. They need to be able to move. So you're getting enough for 20 balls for each one of these, but you'll probably only use 19. The next thing that we want to do is to take the rail, the extrusion, and we want to turn it upside down with this top with the pyramids on it. This is the top of the carriage, facing towards the end stop. And then we will just very gently insert the linear rail. Now sometimes the linear rail doesn't want to cooperate and some of the ball bearings will pop out, and that's okay. All that we'll do is set that one aside, and as we get a little bit further along, we'll have the ability to put these ball bearings back in. Sometimes putting your finger in helps it go a little bit. We'll run this carriage up and down a couple of times. Alright, and then we'll take the carriage back all the way here, and we'll try to put the ball bearings back. Alright, now our rail is attached, and we can choose to tighten and add some tension here. We don't want it to be so tight that it's going to stick, but we can play around with the tension a little bit. We do want it to be firm. And that's how we build our rails.